Hi, I'm Taylor.
And I'm Kendra. We are the hosts of Camp Chaos, where we celebrate the wild ride of modern womanhood.
We are moms, but also so much more than that. Join us as we dish on motherhood, life's ups and downs, and all things pop culture that we know you want to talk about.
With special guests and expert insights, we're here to empower you through the chaos of everyday life. Consider this your ultimate escape from the hustle and bustle. And as always, parental guidance suggested.
Listen to Camp Chaos wherever you get your podcasts.
Chaol makes a valiant effort to fend off the mysterious creature from the portal to let Celaena and Dorian escape. But when the creature takes Fleetfoot, Celaena rushes in to save her friend with her hidden powers. Once the portal is closed, Celaena pursues Archer, killing him after he reveals the depth to which his betrayal of Nehemia went. The group gets above ground to be treated, and Celaena reveals some of her fate heritage to Chaol. The captain of the guard bargains with his father to enact his plan to send the king's champion to Wendlyn, a plan neither Dorian nor Celaena are terribly happy about. Goodbyes are said, and Celaena promises Dorian she will return for him, while Celaena and Chaol's parting is much more painful. Before she leaves, Celaena gives Chaol one more clue, the last clue he needs to learn her true name.
Hey there, we're a book talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy, your book besties who take the novels you love seriously.
This is Jack.
And I'm Amy.
And we embrace and respect modern fantasy, romance, and romantasy books written by women. And so it is in our nature to analyze these books as we would any other novel we might have discussed in school.
With our combined 13 years of literary academic training, we use our education to analyze and give voice to reasons you may love or hate today's popular books.
This is part 1 of our season finale, where we're discussing chapters 49 through 56 of Sarah J. Maas's second Throne of Glass novel, Crown of Midnight. For a complete list of episodes and the chapter breakdowns, be sure to check out our Instagram at the handle Book Talk for Book Talk.
Before we dive in, let's talk about Spilt. Spoilers, perspective and interpretation, language, and themes.
Spoilers. While our discussion is about Crown of Midnight, important context from the first 3 novels in the series will be discussed without spoiler warning. That is specifically Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and Heir of Fire. This is not a read-along for anyone who hasn't read at least these 3 books, and you will be spoiled from here on out. So please take this as your only spoiler warning. For all other spoilers beyond Heir of Fire and other SJM works, we will keep those to the breadcrumbs and broomsticks section at the end of the episode.
Perspective and interpretation. What we discuss in this episode are strictly our personal interpretation of the text. We do not speak for Sarah J. Maas and in no way know her intentions for her books or characters. We also know our listeners have their own personal views and opinions, and we encourage you to share your thoughts with us because every perspective and interpretation is worth exploring.
Language. We curse. Explicit language does occur.
Themes. We also discuss some heavy subjects throughout the podcast that can include themes of sex, violence, abuse, depression, self-harm, and death. While we will do our best to give trigger warnings for the darker themes, we will discuss these topics when they are important to the text. Listener discretion is advised.
As always, we love keeping the conversation going because our listeners are so good at finding things we've overlooked or missed completely. You can share your interpretation of the text with us by posting on social media, tagging us in stories, sending us DMs, or submitting to the form on our website. We also post more exclusive content and host live streams for our Patreon supporters. You can find us at patreon.com/booktalkforbooktalk.
The question we end our season with is, have the circumstances and outcomes of Crown of Midnight properly prepared Celaena to begin her journey as Aelin Galathynius? If you don't recall, we asked ourselves this at the first episode, and now we have to answer it.
Yeah. Themes we see in this section include goodbyes and so longs.
Decisions made with lack of consent.
Okay. Themes we see in this section include goodbyes and decisions made without lack of consent. There's no fancy way of saying that. All right.
I was going to say you did a double negative.
I repeated what you said.
You said without the lack of consent. It's just...
Okay, I did not repeat what you said. You guys get the gist. Before we begin, let's all take a sip. Good sip at the start of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I want to keep the listeners on top of when they're sipping. You know, I don't want them to feel comfortable thinking that they know. Chapter 49 starts, and Celaena is awake mid-fight, and Chaol is there. She'd, quote, awoken in hell as she opened her eyes to a pulsing headache and the sight of Chaol circling the pale demon, blood dripping from both of them. She had to help Chaol. Had to. So I like this because, like, I'm not quite sure, like, what is the hell, right? Is it just the demon or the fact that Chaol is there trying to save her? Because, you know, he came out of nowhere. And it just shows there's going to be little things throughout this episode that shows that her feelings have not completely disappeared for Chaol. And it's something that she will face as well.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't been that long since Nehemia was killed.
It's like 3 days. All right. It's been.
Yeah. I don't even remember how long it's actually been.
Maybe a week.
Either way, she had feelings for him. They had a 1-week relationship. It hasn't been that long since. Like, a lot has happened. She's not supposed to have resolved those feelings yet. Now, Celaena isn't able to help Chaol, but Dorian is. Quote, Gods, Dorian didn't just have magic. He had raw magic, the rarest and deadliest kind. Sheer, undiluted power, capable of being shaped into whatever form the wielder desired. Sheer, undiluted power is also how Rhys is described, by the way. So this is a breadcrumb. You know, Celaena, as we know her, shouldn't know what raw power looks like. We should be wondering, how can she tell what this is? We're about to find out. To Jack's point earlier, though, Celaena doesn't want to leave Chaol behind. Another sign, maybe they could have worked things out. We're going to talk, I think, a bit about that this episode, but they're just never going to have that opportunity.
I hate this saying. I don't like saying it, and I just don't like the general
Sentiment?
sound of it. Yeah. I'm fine with the sentiment, but I just hate how crude it is. However, every time I read he had raw magic, in my mind, I'm like, he was raw dogging that magic. Chaol saves Dorian and Celaena, and he's just like, all right, I made enough time for you guys. You should all leave. I'm going to take care of the monsters. And he is ready to die. Quote, he could accept his end if it meant they could escape. He could embrace the darkness when it came. Chaol is eating that shit up because that means he's the one who gets to save them. And most importantly, that would be an honorable death. We know Chaol loves honor, and this is honestly probably the easiest way for him to go because then he doesn't have to deal with the repercussions of Celaena still hating him and having to deal with any other consequence. He just gets to die with honor rather than deal with emotions. Yeah. I feel like let that sit there. Dorian, though, is trying to save Celaena because, you know, Chaol's like ready to sacrifice himself. And Dorian was like, yeah, okay. And Celaena is just like, no, I need to get back there. But it's not really until the beast takes Fleetfoot that she absolutely loses it. Quote, there was nothing he could do, he realized, except run. Celaena's scream was still echoing through the passageway as Chaol leapt off the stairs and hurtled through the misty portal after Fleetfoot. I know people are going to hate me for this.
I already have a counter to you.
Do we just let the dog go?
If that was Artemis, would you let Artemis go?
I literally had to let Artemis go after my dad died.
Damn it.
I literally had to give away my dog after my dad died. So,
but if you had a choice.
You don't really have, I mean, I'm just saying they're going to like, it's like, wow, they had a great time to seal shut the portal. I'll remember you always.
No, I'm on your side with that.
Dahlia, would you go?
No,
Dahlia?
I would because she's so helpless and dumb. She doesn't know what she's doing.
She would die so fast, though. Would you go? You'd go save her? Close the portal?
I know the answer is close the portal.
I know, and like everyone out there is shocked, screaming at their radio or wherever they're listening to, and then they're looking at their dog or their cat and being like, "You guys are horrible people."
My greatest fear is there's a fire in my building and I'm not able to get the cats out.
Yeah, that's fair. But that's rough because then you know they're like gonna roast type thing. However,
well, yeah, this creature just picked up the animal and they're about to get eaten.
One good bite and it's done. No, this is when our listeners turn on us.
I don't think Chaol actually cares about Fleetfoot. It's because Celaena, who was willing to leave Chaol behind, wouldn't leave Fleetfoot behind. And so therefore Chaol goes to save Fleetfoot. Is it to win Celaena's love back? Is it to make sure she leaves? Is it to bring more honor to his death? Who knows? All of the above, maybe. Celaena, though, has to follow after them because Chaol and Fleetfoot are some of the last people in her life that she has feelings for. Because, poor Dorian, quote, but she didn't care about Dorian, didn't care about anything except Fleetfoot and Chaol as she sprinted down those few stairs and across the hall. She had to get them out. So, bye-bye, Dorian. Let me smack your head against a wall.
I know.
Now, I did have to ask myself this question. Does Celaena care most about Fleetfoot because the dog now represents Nehemia, because Nehemia loved Fleetfoot more than Nehemia loved Celaena?
Yeah, probably. I mean, we all love our dogs. There's that. But yeah, I think there's a lot of representation and more emotions of like, but that was the dog Nehemia liked type of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So at this point, Chaol's in the other world and he's fighting the monster with his bare hands. Like she kind of says that she walks in and he was like fighting them off without his sword. And I'm just imagining him batting it like, I don't know. And like, how big is this thing? Like, you know what I mean? Can he fight it off with his hands? I don't know.
I'm assuming his sword had just snapped in half at that moment.
He's just batting it with his hands like, no. Quote, she roared, revealing elongated canines, and the sound was unlike anything he'd ever heard. There was nothing human in it. It's a loss of humanity for Celaena, but more importantly, at this point, it's going to be a loss of identity. And through that loss of identity, that loss being Celaena Sardathian, it is the real and ownership of her true identity. But this is the moment, in many ways, where Celaena Sardathian dies.
Mm-hmm. And it's a violent death. Celaena even thinks of it as her, quote, unleashing the monster inside herself. The monster inside herself is what devours Celaena Sardathian. And it's very powerful, this lack of humanity in her. It's terrorsome. Chaol observes when Celaena comes through the portal, quote, and this is right before the quote Jack read, quote, the moment she burst through the portal, something changed. It was like a fog vanished from her face, her features sharpening, her steps becoming longer and more graceful. And then her ears shifted into delicate points. I really was hung up on this idea of the fog vanishing from Celaena's face. It's so significant in this moment. To me, it implies that there was always something hidden, which, yes, is true. There was always something obscured from sight. And this has both been true for the reader as well as for Chaol. And now we get to finally see through the fog.
Yeah, I love that because this is really the mask that Chaol's been looking for. Because he's always known there's more to her. And, the fog on her face, you can say, is almost a literal mask. It is a really epic end for a chapter. I'm just going to read it just because it was, shivers when I first read it. Quote, no. She wasn't human at all. Celaena was Fae. Woo! Shivers. We go into chapter 50, and Celaena is in her Fae form. I just want to appreciate the fact that it's been 10 years since she could switch. So, just saying, that's probably a lot to go through, right? I feel like it must hurt, and she probably is very unaware, doesn't remember much of how to switch. Looking at Chaol, quote, she could smell his terror and his awe, smell his blood, so human and ordinary. Maybe on some level, Celaena rejected her Fae side because she knew on that level, her Fae side would only see Chaol as weaker, as ordinary, and not as worthy of a fearsome beast as she is.
It's a great point, because who wants ordinary?
Ordinary is such a great insult. That's like that one on TikTok where you can tell someone you look like you're easy to draw.
That's harsh.
I know. Like, what is that? It's kind of like you don't know what it means, but you know exactly what that means.
Yeah. Now it's Celaena's turn to fend off the creature while Chaol escapes with Fleetfoot. Quote, with a battle cry that shattered through the mists, Celaena plunged Damaris into the earth. The ground cracked toward the demon, a burning web of lines and fissures, and then the ground between them began to collapse, foot by foot, until the creature was sprinting away. Soon, there was just a small lip of land surrounding Celaena, backed by the open portal and an ever-growing chasm before her. Human Celaena could never, neither could Chaol. Like, this is Celaena channeling her power into Damaris and using it for destruction. Very cool. This moment brought me back to the image of Celaena's dream, where the stag is on one side of a chasm and Celaena on the other, and she's never willing to make the jump. I feel like this time she's made the jump.
Yeah, good point.
Because she has finally accepted kind of her heritage, her heirloom of destiny. I don't know. I'm making up things now.
Oh my. Someone just got fancy. Her heirloom of destiny. Don't mind if I do.
What does it even mean?
I don't know, but I like it.
But when the deed is done, quote, she shifted back into her clumsy, frail, mortal body. Now, Celaena could choose to remain Fae and keep her strength, even if she could not keep her magic. Like, she could have just stayed Fae and gone through the portal. Instead, she still chooses humanity, even though she knows it is a lesser state of being. In my mind, she's kidding herself into thinking she can still hold on to Celaena Sardothien a little bit longer. She might be on the other side of the chasm, that metaphorical chasm, but she's not yet ready to face that reality, as we have been saying this entire novel.
I know. Question. If she was like in her Fae form when magic disappeared, does that mean she wouldn't be able to switch back to her human form? Or does magic disappearing mean she automatically reverts back to human?
Her Fae form is her original form. Her shift is the human form.
So being able to shift is, and I know that that's her OG, like her actual form. But I was like, okay, so shifting
requires magic.
Okay.
Right. So slight spoiler, but it's fine for this book. When Rowan at the end of Heir of Fire offers to come back to Otterlyn with Celaena, she's like, you're going to want to be a hawk and scout ahead, and then there's no magic, and then you're just going to be stuck as a hawk the entire time. So no, basically.
You're going to be stuck as a hawk, and I'm not going to hear you bitching about it.
So I imagine that if she came out in her Fae form, she wouldn't be able to shift back. She wouldn't be able to use her magic, but she would
she would look like a Fae, and
she would look Fae. She would have her Fae strength, I would assume.
Yeah, but then she'd also be more targeted.
Yeah.
A lot of choices were made.
Yep.
She made the right one.
Yeah.
Before Celaena can get out of this land, she turns back into a human, like we talked about, and she is ready to pass out. She was like, I'm out, deuces, I did my job. Quote, and then there were strong hands under her shoulders, hands she knew so well, dragging her back through the portal. I love that she was like ready to she reached her maximum potential. She was ready to pass out, stay on the other side, but Chaol went back to get her. And at this point, we know he's scared. We know he's confused. We know he is absolutely freaked out because he's about to touch her like a hot potato. And still in this moment of panic, he still goes back and gets her. I don't know. That always makes me really emotional every time. Like, he went into that portal twice. One for her dog and one for Beast Her.
Yeah.
I'm not giving him props.
I was going to say, it doesn't make me emotional, but I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm like, oh. Only because we're going to see how much he's disgusted by her.
Yeah.
Is what makes it sweet. So we hop over to Dorian's point of view. And at this point, Celaena's back on her human form. And Chaol pulls Celaena through. Quote, once they were over the border, he dropped her as though she were made of flames. And Celaena lay panting on the stones. I know for a fact, although I don't know for a fact, but I can make a very educated guess that SJM was laughing when she wrote that.
Mm-hmm,
like, oh, made of fire?
Right, because Dorian's ignorant, but he makes the metaphor from his point of view.
Mm-hmm. But it's also a harsh realization of Chaol. Like I said, he's absolutely like, I don't want to touch her. The change between Chaol to Celaena is so intense that Dorian notices everything very quickly, like barely any time has passed. Quote, something was wrong between them. Chaol wasn't touching her, wasn't helping her. And so the chasm that was there between Chaol and Celaena just keeps getting wider. Again, it's a beautiful, painful thing because they both still care about each other so much, but now there's just so many things in between them. And it's going to keep growing. And eventually it'll be the form of a hunky female that will be in between them.
Now, we know Dorian hasn't seen Celaena's Fae transformation, but he doesn't care about Chaol's wariness, and it doesn't stop him from helping Celaena when she says that she needs Dorian's blood. Quote, Dorian put a warm, reassuring hand on her back as she dipped her fingers into his blood. She hadn't realized how freezing her hands were until the heat of his blood warmed her fingertips. Dorian never let go of her, only stepped even closer when she swayed. There's something very intimate about the gesture. It is the complete opposite of Chaol. And this is a great metaphor. Their positioning, what's happening in this moment. It's a great metaphor for how magic brings Celaena and Dorian together and pulls Chaol and Celaena apart. There's a level of understanding and shared intimacy in the danger for their lives that makes Dorian and Celaena look out for each other. And that's something that Chaol will never understand because he will forever be ordinary.
And easy to draw.
Mm-hmm. And this physical proximity that we're seeing right now of Dorian with Celaena while Chaol watches on is going to play out on an emotional/mental level during Heir of Fire and negatively impact their friendship.
I wonder if... Because, remind me, when does Dorian discover she's Fae? How does he discover that? Does Chaol tell her? Is that not till book 4?
Chaol tells him something in Heir of Fire. I can't remember.
I know Dorian's going to get, like, really judgy with Chaol, being like, well, you can't pick part of her. You have to love all of her. And it's true. He has magic and he can understand that on some level. However... he wasn't there. He didn't see it. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't see her growl. Like, we talk a little bit about, we didn't even cover it, but at one point, once she crosses, she growls at the monster, and then other monsters growl back. Like, she goes full feral, and that's not a cute little, hey, I got pointy ears. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, she's a beast.
Yeah.
And I wonder what his reaction would be. I do agree that he would have come to understanding and accepting her way faster than Chaol because he has magic. He's also a special boy. But I'm just hoping that in book 3, he isn't as judgy, which we know for a fact he's going to be. The chapter ends with Celaena getting her 5th win because she's like, Archer just ran off with the book. All right, I gotta go. I mean, time to go take care of this.
Yeah, seriously. So it is chapter 51, and Celaena is headed toward the only secret exit out of the palace that anyone knows about, and she's searching for Archer. Quote, though Celena's Fae senses were extinguished, she could swear she still smelled Archer's cologne as she moved toward the sewer tunnel, still smelled the blood on him. I loved this little moment because not even the cologne can mask the blood on Archer. And to me, it felt symbolic that for all his charm as a courtesan, it doesn't make up for his dastardly deeds. You know, the assassin training, the gray morals, just the badness about him continues to shine through, quote unquote. And Celaena's that dog on a hunt, going out to take care of him, take him out.
Can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog? You don't know that meme. You don't speak internet.
I don't. Wait.
What?
We forgot to take a sip.
Oh. I need to ask my cousin Dre, who is a doctor, and I do call her Dr. Dre, how much blood needs to happen before you can smell it? Because there's a lot of
or how old does it need to be?
Yeah, because there's a lot of you could they could smell the blood, and I kind of want that in my own book where there's a certain level of realism where it's like, I thought a blood would smell. You know, like if someone's a human and let's say she doesn't have her face senses, which I think we do, but you always see it where it's like the smell of blood. It's like, well, you know, can you really smell it?
I can smell period blood.
Yeah, I can.
That's what her reaction should be. Ew, period blood?
Did I talk to you on the podcast about this? I can't remember, but the men will go lifetimes without ever seeing themselves bleed that much. Like they'll never see that much blood from them.
Whereas women see it all the time.
Yeah.
You've never said that to me before, but I believe it.
I said it a lot in my head.
Even Aelin would pause to catch her breath. We'll be right back. This show is sponsored by Liquid IV.
I'll give you one guess into what's my Stanley right now.
Probably something with electrolytes, like Liquid IV.
It's not even funny how true that is. Liquid IV is scientifically formulated to help replenish electrolytes and fluids lost from sweat or exercise, which is perfect because I am both sweating and exercising this summer.
It has 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients, all in a single stick. And guess what? They've got Orange Vanilla Dream Hydration right now. It is so nostalgic. makes me think of summer instantly.
The fact that it has 100% daily value of 4 essential B vitamins, B3, B5, B6, B12, it's an excellent source of vitamin C, and it makes me just feel like I've really accomplished a lot just by drinking one of these.
Powered by Liquid IV Hydroscience, Liquid IV replaces necessary nutrients lost from everyday dehydration, and it doesn't matter if you live somewhere dry or humid, trust me, you're dehydrated.
Just one stick in 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone.
It is always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free, and if you're like me and are sensitive to everything, it is fantastic.
Savor the last bits of summer with Liquid IV. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code BookTalk at checkout.
That's 20% off your first order and code BookTalk, BOOKTALK, at liquidiv.com. Growing up, my parents were obsessive about the chore charts and the stickers that we got to use to track our chores and what each completed chore was worth in money.
And now with Acorns Early, you can apply that to today's kids with modern technology. It's genius. Acorns Early is a smart debit card and money app that grows kids' money skills as they grow up.
Start with the in-app chores tracker and teach your kids the value of $1.
Then let your kids set up their own savings goals, start building healthy money habits early.
Make them work for that PS5.
Absolutely.
Kids can spend what they've earned with their own customizable debit card, giving them the extra sense of independence.
Plus, with Acorns Early, spending limits and real-time spending notifications, parents always stay in control.
This is definitely something I would use if I had kids because I love nothing more than teaching hard work for reward.
This is what's going to happen when I have kids. You're going to be teaching my kids with Acorns Early.
That's exactly right.
Ready to teach your kids the smart way to earn, save, and spend? Get your first month on us when you head to acornsearly.com/booktalk or download the Acorns Early app.
That's 1 month free when you sign up at acornsearly.com/booktalk. BOOKTALK.
Acorns Early Card is issued by Community Federal Savings Bank, member FDIC, pursuant to license by MasterCard International. Free trial for new subscribers only. Subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled. Terms apply at acorns.com/early terms. Celaena is super duper ready to kill Archer, and she's going back to her assassin instincts. Quote, Celaena smiled, drawing both of her daggers. She walked through the archway. Mind you, she has her sword. She sheathed that shit. She could easily go with the sword, and instead she was like, no, I want this up close and personal. I want to feel his blood on my hands, because what's about to happen is not a noble act. I mean, we're pro killing Archer here. I'm not saying that it's like Grave where it's kind of shady. I mean, I'm not against killing Grave, but it's not. I hope people know what I'm saying, because I don't. Anyway, so there's a moment there where it crosses the archway, and I think an archway is a debatable threshold. And I think this is going to be a threshold, because Celaena is about to be better. Like, she's trying to walk away and be the light that Nehemia wants her to be. And then she fails. Although, again, in my mind, very understandable.
And also appropriate that it's in the sewer passageway that this is happening.
Yeah, dirty.
Very dirty.
We talked about water not being a very cleansing act in this book.
Right. We're also seeing Celaena come down to Archer's level. Like, we're going to figure out in a moment, Celaena thinks Archer must have kept up with his assassin's training. Celaena, by returning to the assassin, is returning to the mindset of a killer, is returning to Archer's equal, rather than taking the moral high ground.
I don't know why in this next part, I gasp every single time I read it. I'm just like, quote, Rorik Farron was a client of mine, before he was killed, that is. He told me that torturing Sam Cortland was the most fun he'd ever have. He slept with the enemy? He had sex with him? That was a client that means a sex with him? And that's like extra trauma to be like, hey, I slept with him. And imagine if Celaena had slept with him because he wanted to sleep with her.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then it's like his penis had been with a murder penis, a torture penis, and then that would have gone into her. And that's not okay. And it's just like more levels of trauma. And then it's like the way he says that makes it almost be like, were they in bed when he said that? Being like, oh, that was a good round. Let me tell you about the other time I had a lot of fun. Torture. I hate that. Yeah. Every time they're like this whole entire thing, finding out that he's, you know, the villain, finding out that he betrayed Nehemia was not as shocking to me as every time I'm like, oh,
he slept with Rorick Farron.
Yeah.
I had to laugh. I didn't notice it until you read it, Jack. Rorick Farron was a client of mine before he was killed. That is, no, what after he was killed.
It's so unfortunate. He put a deposit down for a lifetime, and every month I have to go to the cemetery and do my due diligence. What the fuck? You're right. Happy he clarified that I had concerns.
Yeah, so that's a rating thing, like as an author.
That's a great, like, no shit.
Be careful what you do.
Yeah. Nope, that it's, you know, that lifetime subscription that people can apply to. And then it accidentally
Even in
goes
death.
past lifetime.
Oh, God.
It's
Okay.
Archer's lifetime, not their lifetime.
Yeah.
Which is perfect because my next note is Archer's not a smart man. So, and he thinks that he knows Celaena better than he actually does. Quote, "You're not a murderer," he whispered. "Oh, I am," she purred, torchlight dancing on the daggers as she considered what to do with him. I love the imagery because of the way that Celaena has described being an assassin, the way that Celaena has described death. A lot of times, especially in the first book, it's described as being a dance. And here we have the torchlight dancing on her daggers. And it's all coming back here. We are seeing this all over again. And it's a beautiful imagery.
The purring also mirrors the start of the novel in my mind when Archer was trying to seduce Celaena. It's flipped on its head now. She's the seductress. She's the one toying with him. She's the predator. In my note, even lions and tigers purr.
What the fuck? You good there? How tired were you?
I was tired.
Even lions and tigers purr.
I was really tired, apparently.
We started listing them. We were like, and bobcats
And
leopards and leopards. Not bears, though.
And lynxes and
All those purr. Archer almost gets to live for like, the briefest moment. So this is what Archer is telling Celaena, quote, "Nehemia wouldn't want this. She wouldn't want you to do this." And though she knew she shouldn't listen to him, the word struck home. Don't let that light go out. The darkness that thrived in her soul had no light left. No light. Save for a kernel, a faint flicker that grew smaller by the day. Whatever she was now, Nehemia knew how small that flame had become. Don't let that light go out. You said before in a previous episode, Amy, that we know that concept of letting the flame go out is going to be a big part in Heir of Fire. And I think that it's also a new updated version of You're a Coward, right? Of don't let that flame go out.
Exactly. And it's just more metaphorically relevant than You Are a Coward, which, so I understand why Sham takes it and runs with it.
She was like, one's a little too direct. I'm going to need more metaphors, please.
Yep.
Bring them in here. Archer is a dumbass, and this is such a man move. Also, Amy and I have editors now, and I was listening to episode 7, and I go on a rant about men, and I say, sorry for the editor if they're a man editing this. And it is, in fact, a man who's editing that. Luckily, a woman is editing this one. So, but Patrick, our one male listener, they're not you. You don't count for this.
He's the 3% male listenership we have.
I need to know. Those other 2% need to come out. Like I said, Archer almost gets to live, but his downfall is him.
Talking too much.
Is just talking. I mean, that's many a men's downfall. Quote, "I knew you were a good woman," he said. Celaena halted, turned. There was a hint of triumph in his eyes. He thought he won, manipulated her again. One foot after another, she walked back to him with a predatory calmness. She stopped, close enough to kiss him. He gave her a wary smile. "No, I'm not," she said. Then she moved too fast for him to stand a chance. If you're going to kill someone, this is it. This is the way you do it. Don't let a man think he's won. That's the first sign to kill, I guess.
Yep.
Stand on business. All right. That's what you're doing. You're not clocking it. You don't understand internet lingo.
I know that's from Justin Bieber, okay?
Oh my God. Thank God. Something to keep
You
us.
guys would not stop talking about it, so I know
Because I told you already. That's why. You didn't happen to know. Past me did the work. There's something about the fact that Archer calls her a good woman, and that's the thing that gets him killed. Because we talk about not calling women girls, and he calls her a good woman. And that was almost more jarring to me in this moment than good girl. Although if he said good girl, maybe I would have been just as jarred. But there's an element of condensing Celaena to her gender, of being like, you're a good woman, and he gets to walk away as this like triumphant man. Now, I might be overanalyzing this, it might be one big eye roll, but we know that he's a sexist asshole. So I think I win.
No, I completely agree with you. The willingness to compromise is essentially a form of weakness to a man, right? The willingness to do what he wants you to do because you are inherently feminine, you are inherently weak. And so calling her a good woman implies that weakness. And, in some ways, Celaena just kills him to prove a point that she's not weak.
Yeah.
And because he didn't match her compassion with compassion, he just decided to be shitty. She's like, you know what? I'm going to take that back. Let's take back that compassion.
I think that's totally acceptable. Yeah, there's a lot of things I'm okay with, and that's that one. Especially when a guy thinks he's won. That's the worst of it, right? Is when someone's like, haha, I beat you. No. Don't let them have the last.
And it's just like your brain is too small to understand how you lost.
Yeah. I don't know. We all take a sip now.
Tyler did say when he was editing episode 7, he laughed a lot.
Oh, good. Thank God.
Because I knew at the time it was Tyler who was going to edit. So I kept saying, yeah, it's Tyler who's going to edit. It is a male editor.
Oh, no.
And he's like, I appreciated the shout out.
That's funny. That's hilarious. He ends the episode perfectly, though, where it was like, I hope a guy doesn't edit it. And then it was really funny.
Nice.
We enter episode 52, and we are in Chaol's point of view, and we see that he watched a bit of the interaction between Archer and Celaena. And he's taking her in after this murder. Quote, the blood had soaked the ends of her hair, turning them a brilliant red, and her eyes. So I like this idea that her hair is almost like dip dyed at the ends as red, and that it's not her hands, right? Because a lot of times there's hands almost implies a level of guilt, right? Like you think of Lady Macbeth and you look at your hands and you're almost like, what have I done? There's no guilt in this kill. There's no regret. There's no remorse in this murder. And I think the dipping her hair red, it's almost one, you could see it as her golden hair being stained and dyed, losing her innocence. Or two, a certain level of badass warriorness where it's like, I'm going to get my hair dyed with blood.
It also kind of gives the visual of she was so close and personal to death. It's almost like she was swimming in the blood rather than just like dipping her hands into it. That's the visual I got.
The other visual I have is when I dyed the tips of my hair pink. Remember that?
It always comes back to Taylor Swift.
It was a me thing. I wasn't even thinking about Taylor. I dipped my hair pink.
Yeah, you did it because Taylor Swift had just
Yes,
done it.
that's true. But this memory has nothing to do with that. This memory has to do with me.
Still makes me think of Taylor Swift.
I miss it. I miss the tips of my hair pink. If I would have kept it longer if it wasn't for COVID and money.
And
anyway.
You won't ever do it because somebody else does.
I'm not saying that. No. All right. Good point. Okay. No matter what has happened, though, Chaol and Celaena will focus on taking care of Dorian first. And that is canon. So at this point, they kind of, head on up. They call the healer. And both Celaena and Chaol are just like, no, little princeling.
Dorian goes first.
Yeah, princeling gets to go first. Quote, scowling, Dorian let the young woman clean the small wound on his temple, received when Celaena had knocked him out cold. Chaol and Celaena in this scene, just like throughout this book, just like the last book, really treat Dorian as the other. And it's continuing this isolation of Dorian. And the only people that he was connected with was starting to be Nehemia. She's dead. Was starting to be Celaena. She's about to leave. It's unfortunate because it's just going to spiral his little emotional heart.
Yep.
Celaena essentially dismisses Dorian, and he admits to himself that he's jealous by this. Quote, but even as he walked out of the dining room, part of him realized that his magic, that he was the least of their concerns, because even from that first day in Endovier, this had always been about them. What a hard pill to swallow, where he was like, not even my magic makes me special. The only thing that makes me special is when I have a boo-boo on my forehead and I need to be treated. The second time I'm kicked out, mommy and daddy are mad. And no, he wanted to sleep with his mom. That's not real, but you know what I mean. But I feel bad for him because this really is othering him. This is separating him entirely.
Which is sad because we're going to talk about it later. Celaena values him for his otherness, but he doesn't see it that way. He sees it as baby was put in a corner. And, you know, the quote that Jack just read is a reminder to us as readers that Throne of Glass was in fact never about Dorian. We may have seen similarities between Dorian and Celaena. We needed a reason for him to care about Celaena, but the point of the story was the relationship between Celaena and Chaol.
We're in Celaena's point of view, and she almost is ready to tell Chaol the whole truth. Quote, I'm taking a bath, she told Chaol, who still sat shirtless under the healer's ministrations. She needed to wash Archer's blood off her. She shucked off her clothing and bathed, scrubbing herself until her skin hurt, washing her hair twice. From what I can remember, I think this is the first true bath scene in this book where we're actually getting details of washing herself. And it makes sense that that would be the case because this is the most honest she's about to be with anyone we have seen in either book at this point. Although not completely honest, but we'll get there.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with you. Celaena can quote unquote come clean about her Fae heritage now that Chaol has witnessed it. And after we've had 2 novels worth of hints. I think it's also important that this bathing is happening now after Nehemia's true murderer, the person who plotted her death, is dead. That feels like a true cleansing for Celaena that like, okay, I can wash my revenge, my need for vengeance off now. Now, as Celaena brings Chaol mostly up to speed, his response is, quote, I would say you're insane, except I have the blood of that creature on me, and it went into that world myself. Just a reminder, Chaol's black and white. Even now, he only believes Celaena because he's experienced it. He has admitted, I would not have enough faith in you to believe you because I have no imagination.
Yeah. If we were to find out, I feel like, okay, there's a range of things I'm willing to accept quickly. Vampires, I'd accept so quickly. If you show me evidence, vampire, I'm on board. You don't need, I don't need to go through this whole large processing. Aliens, already there. Ghost, believed in the whole time. Loch Ness Monster, on board. Bigfoot, I'm concerned if I have no limits.
I don't think you have a limit.
I'm trying to think of the one thing that I'd be like, wait a minute, I need a minute to process this. Mermaids? Yeah, of course. The ocean's big and scary.
Yeah, I can't come up with one.
This is your sign that if you're a...
Oh, okay, centaur.
Yeah, those are some weird looking things. But then I remember...
Fantasia?
No. I was thinking Narnia. And
oh, yeah.
Who's that hottie? The centaur hottie? The actor?
James, what's his face?
McAvoy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd have questions.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to participate. I just have questions.
Okay.
Back to the text. Before we let's take a sip. Let's like reorientate ourselves. So initially, and by initially I mean 30 minutes prior to this, did Chaol have the best reaction seeing Celaena as Fae? No, but he's still making his feelings clear. Quote, his fingers grazed her cheeks, warming her chilled skin. Fae, assassin, no matter what you are, and then she cuts him off. Would Chaol actually have eventually accepted Celaena for who she is? And I actually think kind of yes. I don't think Celaena would ever been able to accept his ordinariness.
The problem is that's a hard question to ask because there's an extra layer that isn't said, right? That is tied to the Faenus, aka she's Aelin Galathynius.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, let's remove that. I mean, like just pure, like just Fae. There's a lot of processing that he has, of deprogramming that he would have to do. There's a lot of, what does that mean? It would also have to be accepting that she's just in general more powerful than him. So maybe he wouldn't. I think that in many ways, his love could go very far for her. And in many ways, the things that he loves, like being able to protect her or being able to be there for her, would become mute or almost mute. Moot. Yeah.
I think Celaena is the only person capable of stretching the boundaries of Chaol's love, but Chaol's boundaries are never big enough to accommodate Celaena.
Oh my God. Did you just talk about Celaena or me and my ex?
Oh, that too.
Ow! You know what? Celaena put in that fucking work so that when the next person comes in, she potty trained him. She made him move in ready. But that's okay, because Celaena gets Rowan, and no one could have loved her the way Rowan loved her. All right, don't mind me processing life. Not just for multiple exes. I made shit move in ready.
Do you need to take another sip?
I do. I made one ex move in ready, and after a long time, she came out as a lesbian. So you know what?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know what? Karma. I hope she's happy.
I really hope she's happy. Having been there, done that, I want her to thrive.
Celaena stops Chaol from saying anything that they are both going to regret, aka the three little words. Celaena thinks, quote, even if she ever learned to forgive him for picking the king over Nehemia, her journey to find the word keys would require her to go far away, to a place where she would never ask him to follow. I bring this up because it's important who she does allow to follow her, right? She's not willing to ask Chaol, but Chaol would have anyway. She's willing to ask someone else in the future, someone who she feels is strong enough to walk with her. Chaol's just not that, and we see that symbolically when we switch to Chaol's point of view. Quote, Chaol stared at where she had gone and wondered if he should follow her into that ancient darkness. But he thought of all that she told him, all the secrets she'd revealed, and knew he needed time to comprehend it all. Just doesn't work for Celaena.
I was the biggest, like, Rowan does nothing for me person. I'm about to ride for him now.
Yeah, you are.
I have now made this personal. He is about to be I'm about to be his champion. I am the biggest Rowan stan there is now. In an effort to make the right choice, in an effort to not learn a single damn thing. Oh yeah, so it's Chaol's effort to make the right choice and also his effort to not fucking learn anything. He decides to make a decision without talking to her because that has continued to prove so well for everyone.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant decision.
I love a man who continues to not grow. No, I don't. Someone play Man-Child by Sabrina Carpenter. Quote, Wendlyn was the last stronghold of the Fae and the one place in Aurelia where she'd be truly safe. Does Chaol send her away for noble reasons? Absolutely he does. Are they reasons that he is one to decide? No, not at all. Should he be the one to be making that choice? Absolutely not. No. So it's like, yes, are they noble? Does he, do it for her own good? Still would have been great to say something. It would have been better to even have, I don't know if it's better, but like bring it up to her and then do it behind her back, like at least give her some heads up.
Give her some warning.
Yeah.
So I have to say an Heir of Fire breadcrumb here because it's so relevant. The irony of this decision is that Chaol is sending Celaena to the one place her parents spent their lives keeping her away from.
What a dick.
So, stupid boy who thinks he knows everything, he knows better than to consult her, he knows what is the best choice for her safety, in fact, has no knowledge. And what is knowledge? Knowledge is power. So therefore, Chaol really has no power over the situation. And in fact, whatever power he does have over the situation, he cedes to his father because he's willing to bargain with his father to do what he thinks is right for Celaena. And then he gets himself tied up into messy shit. It's noble, but so misguided and so messy.
I keep hearing, is it stupid or is it dumb? Useless. I know. There's a better word for it. Fucking man-child.
Take a sip.
Yeah. Okay. Sip my anger away.
We are now in chapter 53, and you know who has even less knowledge and less power than Chaol?
Dorian. Fleetfoot has more power and knowledge.
Now, when Celaena and Dorian talk about his power and how he blocked the creature from attacking Chaol, quote, "That was dumb luck." This is Dorian speaking. "She watched him, this kind, clever prince of hers. I still can't control it." Now, there's no romantic possession here. They're not romantically involved, but Celaena feels ownership over Dorian. And I say that because I feel like it's emphasizing that intimacy that's developed. Dorian is hers to protect. The intimacy is not platonic. It is not romantic. It is possessive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I got. And I don't know how I'm going to feel about that in the future. Quote, "After a moment, Dorian reached over and took her hand, bringing it to his lips for a swift kiss. Nothing romantic, a gesture of thanks. Even though things are different between us now, I meant what I said after the duel with Cain. I will always be grateful that you came into my life." Dorian is the one who says this to Celaena. And Celaena stops and thinks about this. Like, Dorian is actually a good man, and his goodness inspires Chaol to be good. And that inspires Celaena to believe in the future. And I think that's really beautiful because she's lost faith in Chaol. And Chaol was the only person in which she had faith for a good future. And now Dorian is inspiring that. And I think that's beautiful and why ultimately she's going to promise to come back for him. Thank you for listening to part 1 of this week's episode of Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy. Stick around for part 2, which airs on Thursday.
We encourage you to rate and subscribe to our show on your preferred podcast listening platform. We would also love to hear your thoughts based on today's conversation. You can submit your comments to our form at booktalkforbooktalk.com for a chance to have your feedback discussed during a future mini episode or a Patreon exclusive episode.
If you are enjoying the podcast, please visit our website, booktalkforbooktalk.com, to view our latest merch and learn about supporting the show through Patreon or Venmo. You can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube at the handle Book Talk for Book Talk.
Bye.
This show is sponsored by Liquid IV.
I'll give you one guess into what's my Stanley right now.
Probably something with electrolytes, like Liquid IV.
It's not even funny how true that is. Liquid IV is scientifically formulated to help replenish electrolytes and fluids lost from sweat or exercise, which is perfect because I am both sweating and exercising this summer.
It has 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients, all in a single stick. And guess what? They've got Orange Vanilla Dream Hydration right now. It is so nostalgic. Makes me think of summer instantly.
The fact that it has 100% daily value of 4 essential B vitamins, B3, B5, B6, B12, it's an excellent source of vitamin C, and it makes me just feel like I've really accomplished a lot just by drinking one of these.
Powered by Liquid IV Hydroscience, Liquid IV replaces necessary nutrients lost from everyday dehydration, and it doesn't matter if you live somewhere dry or humid, trust me, you're dehydrated.
Just 1 stick in 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone.
It is always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. And if you're like me and are sensitive to everything, it is fantastic.
Savor the last bits of summer with Liquid IV. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code BOOKTALK at checkout.
That's 20% off your first order and code BOOKTALK, BOOKTALK, at liquidiv.com. Growing up, my parents were obsessive about the chore charts and the stickers that we got to use to track our chores and what each completed chore was worth in money.
And now with Acorns Early, you can apply that to today's kids with modern technology. It's genius. Acorns Early is a smart debit card and money app that grows kids' money skills as they grow up.
Start with the in-app chores tracker and teach your kids the value of $1.
Then let your kids set up their own savings goals. Start building healthy money habits early.
Make them work for that PS5.
Absolutely.
Kids can spend what they've earned with their own customizable debit card, giving them the extra sense of independence.
Plus, with Acorns Early, spending limits, and real-time spending notifications, parents always stay in control.
This is definitely something I would use if I had kids, because I love nothing more than teaching hard work for reward.
This is what's going to happen when I have kids. You're going to be teaching my kids with Acorns Early.
That's exactly right.
Ready to teach your kids the smart way to earn, save, and spend? Get your first month on us when you head to acornsearly.com/booktalk or download the Acorns Early app.
That's 1 month free when you sign up at acornsearly.com/booktalk. BOOKTALK.
Acorns Early Card is issued by Community Federal Savings Bank, member FDIC, pursuant to license by MasterCard International. Free trial for new subscribers only. Subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled. Terms apply at acorns.com/early terms.